On. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hurdle the Line. We are here to review a fantastic week of NFL football. Usually, you'd be used to hearing Chapman's voice by now. Unfortunately, Chapman can't make it, so I've been subbed in as the backup quarterback. But it's okay. We've seen some backup quarterbacks do all right this year. I'm sure we'll be fine. Joining me fresh from the London game yesterday is your usual two review co-hosts. We have Tom Craft. How are you, sir?
I am very good, pretty tired, but ready to crack and rock and roll.
And we also have fresh from his own team in London yesterday. We have Ollie. How are you, sir?
Same as Tom, very tired, legs hurt, eyes hurt, throat hurts, but here to somehow talk about some of these games.
No worries. Right. Well, I think the only bit of news I've seen come out of the NFL this weekend has been that the Patriots' Antonio Gibson has had an ACL tear. That obviously means he will now be out for the rest of the season. Has anything else happened in the world of the NFL last
Well, I
since
mean,
Thursday?
does that mean that Trevion Henderson will finally get a rushing attempt this year? Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm sure that probably will. So that's good for him. I'm
yeah,
sure he's. I'm sure. I was going to say I'm sure he's happy about that, but knowing who he is as a person and the things that he represents, I highly doubt he would ever be celebrating an injury. So I'm sure
Yeah.
he's actually still quite annoyed about that. So
Well, obviously it goes against everything I want to see an Ohio State running back do well, but there's already one Ohio State rookie running back doing very, very well in the NFL this season. Um, but obviously, as we're here to talk about week five, just a couple of things. Like this has been a very good week five, one that has seen five comebacks of 10 plus points and three 14 plus point comebacks this weekend. It's been really, really, really good weekend. Starting with though. I think the best place to start, the logical place to start is with one, Ollie's team, but two, there was a game in London yesterday on our pretty much our very own doorsteps in Tottenham Hotspur. Both of you two were there. You were there from the Saturday, I believe,
yeah, yeah, went down Saturday.
as
Oh,
the
can you see it? There you go. Our view from our seats.
Yep, good, great view.
if you're on YouTube there, you would have seen that as well. The so like I say, you were there from Saturday. We all saw the picture with Chapman. All three of you having a bit, which is just a beautiful thing to see, by the way. Absolutely love
Yep.
seeing you guys getting together and doing things. But just talk us through what went down Saturday, what went down Sunday before the game, before we get into it, the atmosphere, all things going on. And I do believe you met uh just so happens to have been a very, very good Cleveland Browns offensive lineman.
Yeah, well, we got there on the Saturday. It started with me. I mean, you both know how tight I am, so you'd be pleased to know that I got out of paying my first round because the bar lady just for some reason didn't charge me for it. So Tom and Chapman both bought me a beer, and then I got them a beer for free. So that was a really good start to the weekend. It got even better as we then went to the Browns Backers London Bash. Met a lot of great people. Met some good Browns internet personalities. Brown Spider, shout out to him. But then best of all, obviously, meeting Joe Thomas, great guy. Getting a little chat with him, getting a signed jersey. Also getting from Gary Barnage and Andrew Hawkins as well. All three of those guys, great. You know, when you got like hundreds of people queuing up to come and get their autograph off you and take their picture with you. If that was me, I'd be like, yeah, all right, keep it running, guys. You know what I mean? You'd be like trying to speed people up, but all three of them were like really happy to chat and take photos and stuff. None of them were like rushing you out or anything. So great for that. And then met Joe later in the night as well. So got another photo with him. Had a great night overall. And also got on the Cleveland Browns Facebook page because they posted a video of me with going up to Josh Cribbs, gave him my jersey to sign, and then without even asking, he went over to Joe Hayden and got him to sign it as well. So managed to get five former Browns alumni players signatures on the Saturday, and that was just the Saturday. And then Tom, do you want to tell him about Saturday night after the bash?
Yeah. So, well, long story short, we were supposed to be staying at a hostel. Turned up at the hostel. turned out that my fault. Only booked one bed. So they would not let us in, would not let us. We asked if we could just share the bed, and they said, that's against their policy. At this point, we were panicking about where we were going to stay, potentially in a Mackey's toilet or two. But we ended up, through hard work and persistence, finding another um another oh my God, another hostel to stay in. So we had to get like a 40-minute bus or something to this next hostel, which we got into. That at that point it was about 2 in the morning, wasn't it, Ollie?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that was a very eventful night. So yeah, it
yeah.
was
And
it was fun though.
ended
It
up in
was
a
certainly
hostel.
memorable.
Ended up in a hostel with a bunch of French people. Two French people having. I don't want to be rude on here, so I don't know what word to use. Having, let's just say, making love in the bed next to me. That was very pleasant to wake up to. Um, Anyone been to any of these hostels, backpacker hostels, they'll know how free spirited they are.
There's a
But
reason why they give you, which I took out of my pocket as I was walking home, earplugs.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, I bet. Great weekend, but I did end up walking around London until 2 in the morning, and then had to spend 60 quid to sleep on a rock solid mattress with a hard pillow in a room full of in a room full of French people that were very free spirited. So yeah, still a
But
great weekend though. That was
onto
just a
the
Saturday.
onto the Sunday. So once we had woken up and gathered our thoughts in the hostel and rushed to the nearest place that served coffee so we could somehow survive the day, we we then got the bus into where the stadium was. The atmosphere was great. There was so many different fans of different teams. It was absolutely packed out. They've got loads of different like food vendors, all that sort of stuff. Um, Ollie then proceeded to get a tiny little bit annoyed at me because I picked against the Browns when I was doing my TikTok predictions that I do every week.
Jinxed
But
it.
yeah, which I mean ended up being true, but no, the actual state of the art, the stadium was beautiful. As I said, loads and loads of different fans. They all started filtering, and we managed to miss the ticketing issues that some people were having on the day. We
Yeah.
managed to get in before that, but there was loads of issues apparently to do with the Ticketmaster app and what have you. But we managed to avoid that. Had a couple beers in lead up to the kickoff, and then just marveled at our eyes that we got to see Miles Garrett in person, and for me, Justin Jefferson as well. So yeah, great day. But I'll let Ollie go on about the Browns.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the game itself, good experience. Both touchdowns that the Browns scored, we got to see in our end zone. So we had a really good view of both the Browns touchdowns. Looked like they were going to go win the game. Dylan Gabriel played well. Rookie quarterback making his NFL debut in an international game. He's never been outside of the US before. So this is his first time leaving the US, making his debut against Brian Flores, who before this game was 9-1 against rookie quarterbacks as a coordinator or head coach. And he played pretty well. Looked like the Browns could win this game, but Browns are going to Browns, and I suppose I've been watching for a decade now the Browns be the Browns on the television. So to finally see the Browns be the Browns in person, even though it's a loss, that is one thing you can tip your hat to and say. But credit to the Vikings. A lot of people, a lot of Browns fans would want to say that the Browns blew it. Browns defense at the end, you'd obviously like to see them get a stop there in the last, 2 minute 45. I think there was left. They let them drive down the field. But credit to Carson Wentz, he had a good game. Credit to KOC, he's one of the best in the game, one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. With a pretty downtrodden offensive line, he steamed up a really really good game plan against this Browns defense and ended up working for them. And Justin Jefferson is I don't know if you mentioned that earlier, Tom. Justin Jefferson, obviously seeing him, like he's everything as advertised in person. Like he looked like he was playing a different sport to every other
I
wide
mean, we
receiver on
even
the
saw it,
field.
didn't we, with a crucial 2 minute
Yeah, he was just
situation.
unplayable out there, and
Rose it up, against the Browns' best corner, Denzel Ward, and he just picks it up. What also was great to see is he was wearing the pink cleats as well. No one else
Yeah.
seemed to be doing that, but he was still doing it. So that was awesome to see. And as Oli said, it was a really good game. Good back and forth game. A bit more exciting, a bit more offense than I guess we thought we might see. But Quinton Judkins, an absolute star, over 100 yards on the ground. Unfortunately, he had a touchdown ruled out, but he also did have a touchdown as well. But he had a touchdown pulled back.
Yeah.
But
Which I think Tom seemed really happily about, because Tom was actually getting a beer when he got the touchdown that was ruled back. So when I told him that, he was like, "Well, at least I didn't miss a touchdown that counted." But
exactly. And then right at the end of the game, the Browns defense, unfortunately, kind of just let them down slightly. Jordan Addison, game-winning touchdown. But it was great to see. It was just a really good atmosphere. They really got the crowd going. They had on the screens, obviously, the Browns were the designated home team, so they had, the dog pound and
yeah,
big third
I think
down,
they
all that sort
basically
of
like
stuff.
transferred whatever the Browns stadium do on their screens to the thing. They basically had all like the promotional stuff for the Browns, didn't they, and all of that stuff. But the scorecard was terrible. Whoever was on the scorecards
Oh, that
was
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 atrocious.
unable to
Yeah.
keep up, and the stadium scorecard was never matched to what was actually going on.
No, we kept looking, being like, I'm pretty sure it's first down. They're like, nah,
Yeah,
it's
so
second down.
that was slightly annoying. But overall, good game, great experience to obviously see my team in person, see all those great players in person. As I mentioned earlier, meet those former players. Had a great weekend overall, despite the loss. Um,
Just
Great
don't go
game.
to Tottenham and try and get out at a reasonable time. That is
Yeah.
what I would say.
And also, don't, if you go to London, take like 6 different battery packs with you, because you would think it would be easy to charge your phone somewhere in London, and oh my word, it is not easy to
Apparently
charge
not.
your phone somewhere in London.
Um, I find a similar problem in Dublin when we go around for the college game, and it's just like you get hit about half two, and you have to. There's a reason. I had a battery pack on me. Mrs. Fletcher had a battery pack on her. Last year we did the same thing. Obviously, Mrs. Fletcher didn't come, but we did the same thing last year. And I think I found one. We were in one bar in Dublin, and I managed to find the one table in the whole part of where we were that had one small like USB plug. That I did. I don't even know if I was allowed to use it. I don't think I was. So fully understand and appreciate that. A couple of things though. I would say watching the game on TV, which obviously is again as we all know, is just a completely different experience. I can only imagine just how good it was watching that again. Watching Justin Jefferson in person, insane. There was one point I put out a tweet that said towards just the start of the second quarter, Dylan Gabriel has one more passing yard than Justin Jefferson has receiving yards. And
Yeah.
it didn't look bad or anything like that. I just thought it was a funny start. And then Dylan Gabriel really turned it up as of the second quarter, and he looked fantastic. He genuinely, watching on TV at least, went through progressions well, made some really good passes against a really good defense as well. So, how good was it at least getting to watch Dylan Gabriel finally start? And at the end, as a rookie quarterback starting halfway around the world, he showed up and did everything for the most part that he needed to do on his first start.
Yeah, I was just happy not to watch Joe Flacco out there. So anyone other than Joe Flacco was a bit, no, I'm kidding. But no, it was good to see him play. As I said, I think he played well. He did play, don't get me wrong, he didn't play lights out. You wouldn't expect him to against going up against that defense. It was a pretty conservative game plan. But as you said, going through, I mean, the touchdown to Njoku was either his second or his third read. I mean, I was shouting at Tom. They motioned Harold Fanning, and Harold Fanning looked like he had a pretty good matchup. I was shouting, Tom, this is going to Fanning, and then credit to the defender, the Vikings defender, he did a pretty good job on Fanning. You clearly see that was the first read. And then, as you said, was able to go through his reads, went for that read to Njoku and threw a really, really good pass, to be fair. I think that was the best pass he threw all day. That second touchdown, pretty much in between three defenders, put it exactly where it needed to be, pretty much any place he could have put it. So don't get me wrong, I'll have to go. I haven't actually rewatched the game. I haven't even watched any of the tape from it. So I'll have to go back and watch all of that to get a great, a better assessment. But from what I saw in person, yeah, I was impressed with Dylan. And, next week we'll tell you more because, as I said, this, first NFL start, international game, going up against a good defense, not just a good defense, but a Brian Flores defense. Um, you know, conservative game plan, all of that stuff. So next week we'll get a better idea in a probably less conservative game plan. But then again, it is the Steelers on the road, them coming off of a bye week. Not really great scheduling from the NFL, is it? I mean, all the not to shoot at you, Tom, but all the big teams, the Chiefs and all these great, they get all the games scheduled how they
Yeah.
need to be, and the rest of and then they kind of put their attention to the other teams and go, all right, yeah, let us figure these guys' schedule out, and that's why the Browns end up having to go play an international game and then come off that game to play a team that's just coming off a fucking bye week after we've had to travel back. Sorry, I just swore. After we just had to travel back from the UK, but it is what it is. And I will just say, because I've never been that guy, I've earned the right to say it once. The officiating in this game was really
Oh, it
bad.
was really bad. It
Yep.
was really
Like I've
bad.
had I've
Yeah.
had four different people that aren't Browns fans message me and saying the Browns got screwed by the officiating in this game, and like the call at the end. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Browns didn't do themselves any favors. The defense let them drive down into that position anyway. They were definitely at least going to score a field goal, so the game was going to be tied. But I don't care what team it is, what situation in the game it is, to miss a jump like their left tackle did on that game-winning touchdown is just inexcusable, in my opinion, from a professional lead and a professional
Yeah.
NFL officiating. I mean, that was just one of the most blatant false starts I've ever seen. So yeah, I will just be that guy for 1 week and say the officiating was terrible in this game.
Yeah, I would agree with Ollie. The officiating was definitely questionable at best. It seemed like there was a lot of decisions that went the Vikings' way. But I was going to say as well, I was going to shout out, even though the Browns defense obviously wasn't able to get those stops towards the end, they did impact the game. You know, they forced two fumbles
Oh yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah.
Vikings as well. They played really well throughout. I was also going to shout out the Vikings offensive line. You know, being as banged up as they are, the scheme that they put together to just allow only three pressures from Miles Garrett, a guy that can just wreck the
Yeah.
game. I thought that was really, really impressive for them. So I just wanted to shout out both of those units,
Yeah.
really. But an exciting game either way. I think it was more of an exciting game than a lot of people thought it was going to be. So I think it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Couple of shout outs to what I give in the game as well. Obviously, we need to shout out Quinshon Judkins, 23 attempts, 110 yards, no touchdown. Um, Even with the one reception for 18 yards. David Njoku in the air obviously got a touchdown, nine targets, six receptions, 67 yards. But over on the other side of the ball, you had Justin Jefferson get seven receptions for 123 yards. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were at London yesterday, you just got to watch greatness. Justin Jefferson is greatness. It's horrible for it to be in my division, but he's greatness. It just isn't. It isn't a question really.
And there was one of the throws as well, wasn't there, Ollie, where we watched it, and it was just like Josh Jefferson just down there somewhere, just like throw
Yeah.
it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. It was just
It's
the
like
most
a
full. Yeah.
40-yard game.
Yeah. It
yeah.
was just one of those. Just literally threw it up there, and it was just like, fuck. Sorry, for God's sake.
As I said as well, I do what obviously already mentioned, but shout out Dylan Gabriel, who did look really, really good in his debut. Carson Wentz went 25 of 34 for 238 yards, a touchdown.
The
But
streak continues, Fletch. The streak continues. We're
it
one game
was
away. We're one game away.
And he also, what was weird in this game as well, he went out for a little bit he was
he
questionable
did
with his shoulder injury, so we thought we might be seeing
Oh, things were looking good
well
at that
Max
point.
Max Brosma
Yeah,
to come out as the third
I was
string
feeling
well
pretty
QB.
good at that point.
there was one point that again I mentioned on a tweet. They did have another option, the Vikings, given Max Brosma, who was an undrafted free agent, he's a rookie, would have had to come out. That was the thought through halftime. But they did have another option.
You know about Cam
Also,
Akers?
also in this game, Cam
Yeah,
Akers had a 100% pass completion
yeah.
rate, 32-yard average, and a touchdown on every pass he threw this game. It was just the one pass for 32 yards in a trick play, but he also had 158.3 passer rating, which is a perfect passer rating. So I'm just saying they had another option there, someone who had literally never
Well,
made a mistake.
it's funny you say that, Fletch, because if the rookie had come in and got hurt, then they would have actually had to go to Cam Akers because they didn't have any third quarterback in this game.
Nope.
So I was
But
feeling quite good at that point.
yeah. And that was the thing going into half time, and then I was taking my daughter home as the at half. We left at half time, so I was thinking I got home about halfway through the fourth quarter, but I was watching the game on DAZN on my phone. As you can imagine, going through certain areas of any city, as you get to the outskirts, signal can get a little bit choppy. So I was trying to watch the game didn't show up properly to start the third quarter. I checked NFL like stats coming through when I saw Max Brosmer had a stat somewhere on the thing, and I was like, shit, he started the third quarter because I haven't seen anything. It turns out I was wrong, and I was scrambling to get back to it to see Carson Wentz. Um,
Yeah.
but obviously we don't want to see injuries to players, and we're glad that Carson Wentz was okay um and all that stuff. So Vikings walk away with it 21-17. The Browns fall to
And
1-4.
finally, just to
Vikings
say,
go
that's the
undefeated.
one benefit of being in the stadium, because obviously when you watch it on the TV and you don't know, whereas we're in the stadium and we could see that Carson Wentz was coming out and looked fine. When
Mm,
Yeah,
even though on Twitter everyone's saying, "Oh my God, but we could see him on the sideline," and it's like, yeah, he's clearly coming back in.
yeah.
yeah. Um, to go back round and again, I first off, very, very happy for you both. I'll let you. It doesn't get much better than being able to see your own team live in person, win or lose. That's something that I've not yet had the experience of being able to do. Tom, have you been to see one of the Chiefs games?
No.
So out of us, I know Chapman's done it a million times. He's got to see his own team in person. It's something none of us have got to do. Very, very jealous yesterday. Win, lose or tie, I would have loved to have been in that position watching my team play. So
Yeah,
very
great
jealous.
experience, and the game, and obviously meeting Joe Thomas, who
Yeah.
one of my three favorite Browns players of all time. Uh, first ballot Hall of Famer, as good as it gets for a player that you could meet as a former Brown. So that combined with, as you said, getting to see my team in person, win or lose, was a great weekend regardless.
Well,
I also got to see Ollie shaking as Joe Thomas was stood in front of him with sheer excitement. So
yeah.
Yep, felt like a kid at Christmas.
See, you mention all of those things that Joe Thomas is and and his career and that's all that. But by the sounds of it, he was just a really nice person
Oh yeah,
to be with,
yeah,
and that's even
yeah.
better than anything else.
and he
Um,
looks fantastic. I mean, this was
Mm,
the guy that was, he's an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen, they're big guys. Nowadays, he looks incredible. Like
yep.
he's probably
yeah,
going to live to like 110.
I hope so. Um,
So do I.
to move on to the rest of the slate of games, we had a slightly smaller week this week. Team started on bye weeks. We had no Falcons, Packers, Bears, or Steelers. But as said in the intro to the episode, that didn't stop it being a really interesting slate of games this weekend. I know you guys obviously were getting out and to and from stadiums, so they're a bit limited on what you've seen. So I'm going to throw to a couple of games here, some of the really close ones. Now, the best game of the week, arguably, had to be the Bucks and the Seahawks. Bucks win 38-35. By the looks of things, again on the scoreline, very, very good game. If you actually watch the game, it's like the most elite uniform matchup of the year,
Oh
apparently,
yeah.
as I've been
Oh yeah.
told. It did look really good coming through on Red Zone at the time. Thoughts? Did any thoughts on this game coming out of it?
Um,
Yeah, I mean it was my thoughts were just can we see games like this every week? Not these, just total blowouts and what have you. Because it was just an exciting game. The Bucks went up 13-0, I believe. In
yeah,
they
they did. We were in a Weatherspoons at that point, I think.
no, 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 well, I don't know, maybe no, maybe yeah, maybe we were actually.
Was this the later game or was this a 6 o'clock game?
405 game.
No, this was a 9:25 game. So
Yeah, yeah. So
we
we
were
we were in a
watching it. Yeah,
Weatherspoons,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we were exactly. But yeah, they were up 13-0. Then the Seahawks get, the 1-for-2 punch. They get the ball uh towards the end of the second quarter, scored a touchdown. And then coming out of the half, they get the ball again, and then they score another touchdown. So they go up 14-13. And it was a really good back and forth game. I wanted to shout out. And Ollie's obviously going to love this because they're two, former Ohio State wide receivers. But
Uh-huh.
Emeka Buka and Jackson Smith and Jigba lit up this game. Like they were electric. Ibuka
Yeah.
had 7 receptions, 163 yards and a touchdown. And Jigba had 8 receptions, 132 yards and a touchdown. Sam Darnold had 4 touchdowns. He obviously had a few picks as well, but some of those weren't really on him. But it was always going to go down to kind of, it felt like who had the ball last. And then that crucial pick towards the end for Levante David of all people, 13-year vet, NFL vet. And then the Bucks kicked the field goal to seal the win. But really impressive win for them. Another win where they came from behind as well.
This is
They were down
every
35-28.
game they've won has
Every game
been with a
they've
field
come back
goal.
in the fourth quarter and won. So
With a field goal.
yeah,
And it's a former Browns kicker that is making these game-winning field goals every single week for them, which is of course rubbing salt in the wound to any Browns fan that's seen their kickers miss a million game-winning field goals. Um, yeah, great game, as you said. This is just a great advertisement for Ohio State wide receivers. If there's an Ohio State wide
yeah,
receiver in the draft, go out and draft him. Can't take this year, go out and draft him.
yeah,
Couple of bits of it, couple of statistics from this game. I say statistics, but NFL records come from this game with the game-winning field goal as time expires. The Bucks are the first team in NFL history to win their first four games of the season, get their first four wins of the season on game-winning scores in the final minute of a game.
Yeah, I think Baker broke a record as well.
Um,
yeah. He did.
the
Most yards with less than
Yeah,
five
what is it?
completions or something.
First
Less than five incompletions.
375-yard passing game with fewer than five incompletions as well, which is just insane efficiency, to be fair.
another really interesting stat to come out of this game relates to Emeka Egbuka. His 163 yards and a touchdown. He now has 25 catches, 445 receiving yards, and five touchdown receptions through 5 games this season. He's the first player in NFL history with at least 25 receptions, 400 receiving yards, and five touchdown receptions in his
Yep.
first 5 career games.
And one of the wildest thing, Fletch,
Go on.
he was the wide receiver two to a freshman last year. For
Yeah,
anyone wondering how good these Ohio State wide receivers coming, even the ones that are in the league now and the ones that are coming into the league in the next few years, nobody does wide receivers like Ohio State right now.
Agree.
exactly. That's yeah. It's a sad reality that I have to admit this, but it is true.
Who was
Um,
the last good Michigan? I'm not even as a thing, but like, who was the last good Michigan wide receiver?
Nico
Shut up, Ollie.
Collins,
Yeah, I suppose Nico Collins.
Um,
probably.
so yeah, that game goes down. The Bucks go to 4-1. The
Hmm.
Seahawks go to 3-2 in what goes down as arguably definitely the
You know
best.
what's great about this game as well, Fletch, is the
One.
fact that the Panthers are that much of a dumpster fire in general. Obviously, I know, they won yesterday, but they had both these quarterbacks on their roster competing for a starting spot, and then now these guys are leading franchises
I
in the
I will
NFL.
put I will push back as the Browns fan that obviously had Bader on it, and it's like context matters, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can't. I don't think it's easy
I'm
to
just
say.
bashing the Panthers. Just let me bash the Panthers, Ollie. I beg.
No, I know, and don't get me wrong. You could probably actually but when it's the Panthers involved in certain teams, but you can even throw the Browns in there if you want. Obviously, certain teams you can actually point to and be like, yeah, well, but you know what I mean. But so many times we've seen players that are good for one team, bad for another, bad for one team, good for another. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's not like they had this version of Baker Mayfield's. Like if the Browns had if Baker Mayfield's what are we at 5 performances this year where his last 5 performances as a Cleveland Brown, then he's still a Cleveland Brown. Do you know what I mean? Like you,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I totally hear that. And I think it also brings to the fore that players don't always need to start like straight out the gate, or like even
yeah,
if they do, they
development
might need
matters,
they
man.
need time to develop,
Yeah,
like Sam Darnold, he was seeing
especially
ghosts when he was
quarterback.
with the Jets, but he goes to San Francisco, he learns under Carl Shanahan, and then he learns under KOC last year, and you can just see he's so much a better quarterback now than he was because he's
Yeah.
had that time to develop
Did unfortunately throw a
become a
game
top passer.
losing
So
pick in at the end of this game though.
yeah.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it was tough though because it was tipped.
I was I was well confused because I was just following it on the phone as I was getting on the train and stuff, and I saw all right, Seattle. Because I messaged Tom saying, all right, Tom messaged me like, oh, this is a great game because he was watching it. I was like, and I just checked it on Google. I was like, oh, looks like Seattle got a chance to go and win it then. and then checked it 2 minutes later, and it's Buccaneers win. It's like, oh right, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Well, that's the epitome of what's gone on this weekend.
Mm.
Given the mention of the Panthers, I think we'll go straight over to that game. So I'll give you the opportunity if you want to, Tom, to bust on the Panthers just a little bit. The Dolphins ran away a 17-point lead early in the second quarter. They start the game, get a field goal. The Panthers then have quite an embarrassing fumble. Dolphins pick it up, touchdown. Panthers get it back. Bryce Young throws an interception. Dolphins get it back. They score another touchdown. 17-0 up early in the set, like pretty early, about third of the way through the game.
Yeah.
Everything was going wrong for the Panthers. And again, another post that I seem to have tweeted at the time was, like, geez, like the Panthers aren't bad, they're bad.
Mm.
They are bad, bad. Um, the Panthers then rally it back. They take the 17, they score a touchdown straight after that second Dolphins touchdown to get a field goal to end the half, and it's 17-10. The Dolphins just keep punting, and the Panthers get a couple more touchdowns. Start the second half with a field goal, couple of punts, and a couple of touchdowns. Wasn't a great game by any means in terms of the
No.
quality of the game, but the Panthers overcome a 17-point deficit after looking really bad. Mike McDaniel is in trouble
Oh
because
yeah, 100%. I mean, the
yeah, any of the team.
Dolphins sold this game, but in all fairness, fair play to the Panthers to get back into it. Me and Ollie were watching it when Bryce Young threw the touchdown to Xavier Legette. Nice thrown ball that was. And then, I mean, this performance came off the back of Rico Dowdle. I mean, the guy had a
Yeah.
monster performance, over 200 yards on the ground. And well, I mean, the Dolphins defense in terms of the Russian defense is just absolutely atrocious, and it got torn to pieces in this game. Obviously, kind of a bit back and forth towards the end as well. Nice throw from Tua to Jalen Waddle to put them up 24-20. Then the Panthers go down and score a touchdown to make it 27-24. And then the Dolphins get the ball back, but then I think they have to punt it away. So yeah, but the Dolphins are just bad. The Panthers are also bad. They're just two bad teams. But fair play to the Panthers for being able to pull it out. So, but
Um,
I just wanted to shout out Rico Dowdle because he dominated in this game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't lie. The only thing I know about this game is that the Panthers at one point were losing and had like 200 rushing yards to the Dolphins
19
19,
yards
which
rushing.
is
Yeah, I
I
told you
I,
that one, didn't
I only know that because Tom told me that about 5 different times while on the bus trying to get out of Tottenham. Yeah, as Tom said, two bad teams. I mean, two teams that when your team's bad, it doesn't feel quite as bad. But there's a lot of bad teams this year, and these are two of those bad teams, and the lesser worst team of the day one.
Yeah, I mean, Devon A-Chain went for a whopping 16 yards on the ground. Tua Tagovailoa, a
And
whopping 5 yards. And Ollie
and
Gordon, like, who was pipped to be everything Ashton Genty turned out to be last year. 3 carries, -2 yards. Um, just,
and Tom was out there after the game begging a Miami fan to trade Devin A-Chain to the Chiefs. So
Yeah, I was. So maybe they'll do it now. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. And like I say, then you get Rico Dowdle does 206. Like,
And he's playing the Cowboys next week. So good luck, Cowboys.
just ridiculous.
is
Um,
Rico Dowd the one that's like 5'8"? Am I thinking of someone
yeah,
else?
pretty sure it is.
Or are you thinking of Juice Vaughn's tiny? Are you thinking of him?
Yeah, Deuce was like tiny, tiny though, isn't he?
No, I think Dowdle is quite small though, to be fair.
So
Yeah.
let's have a look. James.
Of course we'll have a look.
Oh no, he's not. He's 5'11". I'm thinking
Oh,
that's more. That's not small for a running back. So
I mean, just for context as well, by the way, I know you do the running game to running game, which is like that's the if you really want a very disparaging the stat, that's when you look at. Dowdle only had 42 less yards than the entire Dolphins team.
How
Mm.
many yards did Tua have?
Tua had 256. Total
Yeah.
net yards, sorry, if we just go net yards,
How many
um,
interceptions? Did he have any of them?
none. So Tua went 27 to 36, 256 yards, three touchdowns, no interceptions. Um,
And so they got like the best performances. Like that's like a good Tua stat line. That's like you know what I mean. You get that stat line from Tua, and you're like, yeah, we're winning games, and they still lost to the Panthers. So they are in very deep trouble.
well, couple of
Yeah.
things that I think I do what I want to kind of come out of this game though and mention though. Jalen Waddle had six receptions, 110 yards. He was just brilliant when he
Yeah.
was when called. But the resurgence of Darren Waller is arguably just one of the most chaotic things of the NFL this season. He got, was it two touchdowns last week against the Jets? He comes back, he gets 78 yards and a touchdown this weekend. Like
This is
it's
what,
yeah,
folks, this is what terrible music will drive you
yeah.
to. His music was that bad it drove him back into the NFL.
I was trying to think of some way to have a dig at the music. So yeah, Panthers go to 2-3, Dolphins fall to 1-4. And as CBS reported so eloquently about Mike McDaniel, he took his glasses off after the game, which makes you everything you need to know is in that he didn't wear his glasses walking through the tunnel after the game.
All I'll say is he'll make a good offensive coordinator next year. So, and
Yeah,
I say that with seriousness. Like he will be a good offensive
Oh, he
coordinator.
will. He will.
Like the Dolphins' loss will be someone else's game.
um, just as on another tip, on another game, we have live on Comedy Central. The Titans were at the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, actually, it wasn't on Comedy Central, but the highlights definitely should be. This was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
This was
Um,
insane.
I cannot, for the life of me, fathom what went down in this game for in the third and fourth quarter. The only cut I we'll get into it in a sec, just Titans come back from an 18-point deficit with a comical second half from the Cardinals. 16 points in the fourth quarter. Uh, just, I mean, where do we start? Do you want to start with why Murray went out with a potential concussion for a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what happened there because it wasn't even on a snap where he got hit, which was weird. But then he goes into the locker room. What I did find kind of hilarious is he got hit by a ball and it almost looked
Yeah,
like it knocked him over because he's like
that was
he's that small.
that was
But
it. Took him out the game. Hit in the face. He got hit in the
this
face
game, you're
by a
right.
snap.
This game was like a comedy of errors. It felt like some sort of slapstick thing. But it was firstly you finally have a really good game out of Marvin Harrison Jr. You know, Moss's two defenders on his way to what looks like a touchdown. It's a 1 yard. It's to the 1 yard line. I think he had nearly 100 yards in this game.
Yeah.
Um, but then I don't know. You just sell the game like you're up what 21-6. Is that right, Fletch?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were up
they're up
21 to
21
3
to
at one point.
6. You give the ball off to Amiri DiMercado, who looks like he's strolling in for a walk-in touchdown, like running like a 60-odd yard touchdown. And again, I do not know when players will learn to just hold on to the ball before you cross the goal line. Like it's happened 2 weeks in a row. It continues to happen. Like I really don't know what else because if they score that they get the extra point, whatever, that they're up 28-6 and the game's over. But that just shifted the whole momentum. And fair play to the Titans and Cam Ward. He had some really nice throws in this game, especially. I mean, the one that got them the touchdown, that got them right back in it was something out of, as you say, a comedy sketch. You know, an interception that then gets dropped, bobbles around everywhere, ends up in the end zone for Tyler Lockett to get the touchdown, which was I was just like I was watching this thinking, are the Cardinals really just going to sell this game against the worst team in the league? Like, yes, apparently yes. So
Yeah, I think I'm out on the Cardinals. It's like
Yeah,
two
I
two
agree.
years in a
I
row. We're
agree.
like, yeah, they should be a frisky team. No,
I'm out on the Cardinals. We always pick the money to be some frisky team that goes 7-10, or mottering around the playoffs, like whatever, the last playoff spot. I'm out on them too. I might even be out on Kyler Murray at this point because it just I keep having faith in this guy and he just does not back it up.
I
He's
think
he's
I
like
think Drew Petzing
6-28 or something stupid against the NFC West. Like you can't. I don't know, man.
I think Drew Petzing going over must have took some Browns voodoo over to they've had some weird losses the last few years.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
say, this game should have been on Comedy Central. It really should have. At the end of the day, again, you're up 21-3 at one point. You have an 18-point lead. All you need to do is just do the right things for the rest of the game. Get the ball going on the ground. Don't give up any of these.
They were
The
they were playing the Titans. If they just spiked it in the dirt every single snap that they had prior after when they went up 18, they would have won the game.
Yeah, and I said you go in the third quarter. You're about two-thirds of the way through. You're about two-thirds of the way through. It was literally two-thirds of the way through the game. In fact, Kyler Murray's looking over at the sideline. Ball gets snapped. Hits him in the helmet. And then it's a. But the worst thing was, and he just watches everything happen. He gets hit in the face and then
Yeah.
watches everyone put your body on the line. And
Mm,
I always kind of felt a little bit bad on Cam Newton when he got the shit for it. But I watching. I don't understand why you just stand there and watch the ball. Just well, if
There's nothing funnier for a European fan than watching NFL players try and jump on a ball of any kind. I mean,
literally.
it's just laughable. Like if the sports were like like if the rules were different in football and there was like a moment where like people could jump on the ball, the first person to jump on the ball it would be within their hands. Like I mean, it's just half of the players on a field are never ever taught to use their hands in the sport or even touch the ball. You know what I mean? Offensive linemen aren't, defensive linemen aren't, and all of this stuff. So it's just so funny whenever a ball pops out and you just see about 20 dudes play hot potato. It's just hilarious.
with a ball that doesn't roll
I
properly,
know, and
so
it's
it
just like, how are
bobbles
they
every.
so bad? Like, how could you just be so comically bad at trying to pick a ball up? Like,
Like you say, well, speaking of comically bad, like you say, then you've got the Demacado fumble, 72-yard touchdown it would have been, but because he fumbles it and then it gets kicked out at the end of the end zone, comes
yeah,
back for a touchback. Those are the plays where you just gave your opponent momentum at some point and you just give them that little glimmer of hope when they're 15 points down. That would have made it. Touchdown would have made it 21 points. PAT penned him 22 points. Obviously 23 if they would have gone for a 2 point, but at that point you don't need to.
Even
That's
that
a three score
interception at the
game.
end, right? The one that then resulted in the touchdown.
Yeah.
Do the smart play. If you're not going to be able to pick up, just knock it out of bounds. Just put it out of bounds. Like, just do something. Like, it was just seeing it slow motion. People try and jump on it. Bobbles here, goes here. And then yeah, I couldn't quite believe it.
That was
it's
the
one of
best.
them games where like do anything other than what you did. Like genuinely, you could have just ran the ball in out of bounds every play, and it would have been less bad than what you ended up doing.
Yeah.
Well, I even Mrs. Fletch got home today and I was getting some final notes for tonight done. I dragged Mrs. Fletch over to the desk and just went, "Watch this, right? You tell me how funny this is, right? How stupid all of this is." And we re the 16th time I've watched it. I automatically play it in my head now and hear Benny Hill theme
Yeah,
music.
I was about to say, you could just imagine the Benny Hill music over it, or Looney Tunes or something like.
Grabs it under the chest, bounces out from under the chest. First guy comes up, I still don't know who it was, but as he goes to pick it up, he knocks it with his foot and then kicks it. And then he is the one who jumps on top of everybody else. And he does go to make that play where he tries to bat it away, but
Yeah.
ends up just kind of rolling it into the path of Tyler Lockett, who jumps on it and it's a touchdown. It was comical from start to finish. And Cardinals, they have plenty of opportunities to put the game away, do the right thing. They go touchdown, touchdown, punt, touchdown, but then it's punt, 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 fumble, punt, punt.
Yeah.
And things like, and then Cam Ward, you need your quarterback, first overall pick, to step up in the fourth quarter and make some plays, and that's exactly what he did.
And
Um,
his receivers almost sold this game as well. I was watching
yep,
some of it with Oli, and I was like, how is it going through his hands? Like I do not understand. He's putting it in the perfect position for someone to catch it and just get down or whatever. And that was comical too. That was just, yeah, I
yeah.
don't know.
Shout out to Iomino, who made two massive catches in the fourth
Mm.
quarter. Calvin Ridley, 131 yards on the day, two massive catches, a couple
Massive
massive
catch in the
catches in the
fourth
fourth
quarter,
quarter.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, that some of the talent has absolutely sold Cam Ward down the river at this year.
Yeah.
He's made some insane plays, done some insane things, and he's just been sold out. But they turned up in the fourth quarter when they were really needed. Even the intercept, because that does go down as an interception for Cam Ward. The ball was tipped, so you can't
Yeah.
even put the blame on him for that interception. Who knows what would have happened if the ball wasn't tipped? So, but yeah, the Titans
Well,
finally get the
I can
first
tell you
win.
what wouldn't have happened. What did happen would certainly not have happened if the ball
Well,
wasn't
yeah, we,
tipped.
we, we can definitely say
We
that
would not
none
have
of
had
that.
that absolutely calamity have happened. So
But the way the game was going, it would have been some calamity would have still happened. Though I
Hmm.
don't think there would be any universe
where
where the
what actually
calamity
ended up
doesn't
happening
happen on that
happened.
play.
Yeah.
Um, like I say, Titans finally get the first win. They no longer ass anymore, or at least Cam Ward says they were actually good this week. Cardinals 42-3. Maybe they are frauds. Speaking of potential frauds, the Eagles finally lost. I'm joking. The Eagles
Finally.
though finally lost their
Finally
first
lost.
game. Broncos win 21-17.
I watched most of this one, to be fair.
What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, well, I thought it was another game where the Eagles came out, the offense played well to start with, and then they just didn't do anything. Like they go they're up by 14 points in the fourth quarter, and then the Broncos just come alive. They get the lead. They got a nice couple of touchdowns. And then the Eagles, and then me and Ollie were watching it as well, and I was like, the Eagles are somehow still going to win this because and well, they had about 30 seconds left on the clock. They're driving down the field. They get a nice catch. They get into, field goal range, but they need a touchdown because they're down by four, crucially because of the kick. Um, and then they almost get the touchdown at the end, but it almost looks like AJ Brown knocks the ball away from Devontae Smith, which didn't make a lot of sense. And the Eagles finally lose after playing some pretty. I know obviously they were 4-0 going into this, but they played some terrible offensive play. Like they just
Yeah.
don't know what it is. They just can't seem to get it clicking on all cylinders. Saquon Barkley isn't running the ball well either. And then they finally asked Jalen Hurts. I mean, he threw the ball 40 times in this game for like the first time in 5 years, and they actually lost. So yeah, but the
How?
Broncos all props goes to them. I think it was uh thingy Peyton. It was Sean
Yeah.
Payton's. He went up on the win list or something, didn't he? Right? I think he was like went to 12th all time or something like that. He passed Bill Parcells in total NFL wins, I saw. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't like to see it within a division. That the Broncos are now 3-2, but they've had some stuff go against them in some of these close games, and they finally got the dub here in Philadelphia as well. So impressive win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big win for them getting back on track after a somewhat disappointing start to the
I mean,
season.
they beat the Bengals, but that didn't really impress me that much. Beating the Eagles on the road,
Yeah.
when you're down by 14 points in the fourth quarter is not easy to do. So
Everyone beats the
impressive.
Bengals at the moment. Um,
Yeah.
it's that's the reality of it. But I think Sean Payton, I think a lot of this comes down to just a well coached game by Sean Payton. Again, I have waxed a bit lyrical on Jalen Hurts' ability, and I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He can do it with his arm, but the linchpin of this offense is Saquon Barkley and getting that running
Mm,
game going. If you don't have it, and I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is bad, but there's so much that gets lost in that, and there's the defenses can have a little bit of a better time if you can stop Saquon Barkley. six attempts, 30 yards on the ground. He had
Mm,
58 yards in the air, including a 47-yard touchdown. But even then, without the one long 47-yard touchdown, you've got two receptions for 11 yards and 30
mm,
yards on the ground. Like, for the most part, apart from one big play, they shut down Saquon Barkley.
yeah.
Um, and that then sees a lot of success. Unfortunately, the offense couldn't capitalize it until the fourth quarter. And there's your thing. So, not a lot needs to be said, I think, on the game. It wasn't the most exciting. It didn't jump off the page other than the Eagles are down. Now that just leaves one more undefeated team in the NFL. Or at least it did until last night, where the
Mm.
Buffalo Bills were
Yeah.
defeated 23-20 by the New England Patriots. Um,
Drake made breakout game.
I've got a question about the Bills in a minute, but
Mm.
Drake May, 22 for 30 yards, 22 for 30, 273 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But watching a good chunk of the game and watching the highlights back again, Sunday Night Football against the Bills in Buffalo was not too much for him at all.
Now, this is the thing. It was a case of which team was going to make the mistakes in Buffalo. And the Bills, believe, hadn't had a turnover in like 18 straight games going into this game. They turned the ball over three times. They just played sloppy football. I mean, Josh Allen, even after the game, said it himself. He said, we played, we played shoddy football. We didn't deserve to win. We just played sloppy. And he said the offense was piss poor, and he was right. They were. They could not click. There was penalties. Obviously, he didn't have a great game. So yeah, it was James Cook. They couldn't get him going, and he's been, the linchpin for them. But revenge game for Stephon Diggs as well. 10 receptions,
Yeah.
146 yards for him. And despite being up by 10 points in the fourth quarter, the Bills choked the lead, and the Patriots came back. Beautiful throw from Drake May to Stephon Diggs as well to set them up for, was that the game-winning field goal, Fletch?
Believe so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely beautiful throw. Drake May showing the talent of why he got picked so high in a game like this. Not easy to go on the road in Buffalo and win a game. So impressive win from the Patriots, but an ill-disciplined loss from the Bills that they're gonna have to learn from.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, if you look at the box score, I don't like box score watches, box scores and stats and all that sort of stuff. They are a tool to help, as me and Ollie have had this conversation a few times. They're a tool to help. It's like PFF and all that sort of stuff. If you are one of those people who watches the box score, you are going to be baffled at how the Bills lost this game and why
Mm,
the final score is what it is. And this is why football is one of the greatest sports on the planet, and why we love this sport is because you can have these kind of performances. They had more first downs. They were better on third down by a good margin. I think they had 5 out of 9 on third down, whereas the Patriots were 3 of 9. They had more. Quite a few more total yards. They were better on the ground. They ran the most teams who run the ball better win the game. They were a lot better on the ground. They had less yards by penalty. Or they had more penalties. They had less punts. They dominated the time of possession with nearly 35 minutes. Like most of the stats that you would consider that, like when you look at where is a game won or lost via a statistic, those are the stats you go to. The Bills won all of them. The Patriots had a couple more pass yards. It wasn't particularly um, very disparaging between the two. They had less penalties, although more penalty yards, less turnovers. But I spoke to Carl about it this afternoon and just said, look, I'm watching the game and I can't quite decide what's going on it. Because
mm,
on one point you're looking like Patriots defense actually looks really good. They're forcing Josh Allen to make some difficult throws and have to be potentially what looks on film to be sloppy on, but there is only options. But also, you're also watching Josh Allen and thinking that's some sloppy football. You're watching
Yeah,
some of the potential reception, and it's just sloppy, silly football. Both teams were pretty undisciplined.
yeah,
It was a Drake May looked good. Stefan Diggs looked good. Kincaid also had 6 receptions, 108 yards, but mostly boils down to the Bills just being sloppy with the football and the Patriots forcing Josh Allen into some unsavory situations.
yeah. And I think
But
part of that has to go down with the Patriots defense as well. I was going to shout out Christian Gonzalez because he had a really really good game. He's been out for I think so far this season. This is his first active game because he's been injured. But he proved why he's one of the top corners in the league. He had 2 pass breakups, 6 tackles. He was targeted 4 times and only allowed 1 catch for 23 yards. So he was dominant last night, and that definitely helped muddle what Josh Allen was seeing as well.
yeah,
Yeah, but impressive win for the Patriots, and as I said, the Bills have got work to do, and we think they got the easiest schedule. It looked like it is in front of them, but at the same time, they still got to go and win these games and play disciplined football. And if you play like that, you're not going to win. So
The 70 whatever it is, Miami Dolphins are obviously happy about this one.
yeah. So
Patriots getting the win, and shout out to the Drake May Truthers.
yeah, 72. Yeah,
72 was
72,
it? Yeah.
72 Dolphins.
72
Um,
Dolphins, yeah.
And yeah,
of
shout out
which
the Drake May Truthers.
of which you and I were the presidents of such fan club last year. Quick question on the Bills, right?
Yeah.
The 4-1. They beat the Ravens, who were 1-4. They beat the Jets, who were 0-5. They beat the Dolphins, who were 1-4, and they beat
Mm.
the Saints, who up until yesterday were 0-4, got their first win, which we'll get onto in a second. After week 5, their opponents so far have a combined record of 3-17. The first team they've gone to that's won more than one game was the Patriots, and they've lost it. I'm not asking if the Bills are frauds or anything like that,
Mm.
but do we need to keep an eye on the Bills? And
We're in the know into the playoffs. Their
Mm.
schedule is that much of a cakewalk that you know what I mean. Like until we get to the playoffs, I don't think we're gonna know. Like they're gonna win a bunch of games.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still back them to win probably 13 games this year. Um, but yeah, as Ollie said, we're not going to go to the playoffs. But the Bills' defense always kind of makes me feel a little bit shaky. So we'll have to wait and see.
yeah,
If they don't have to get to that point in the season where they do that 5 game stretch where Josh Allen has to have 20 touchdowns, 10 rushing, you know what I mean? Like the last few years, they've always had to have that stretch where Josh Allen's just had to just do everything by himself. They can just not do that, not wear him out in the playoffs before they get to the playoffs. Then I think we'll learn about if they're legit or not in the playoffs.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so I want to fly through some of the rest of the games. These
yeah.
were by far the most interesting. The two unbeaten teams have lost. We have the, like I say, Comedy Central Bowl that was the Titans Cardinals. We had the London game, and we had the Dolphins Panthers, which was I believe they used these days call it the Battle of Mid, or whatever it gets called these days in a meme. Another team went on and won their first game of the season. The Saints beat the Giants. The Giants, who had a 10-point lead at one point. Was it 10 or 40? No, it was just an 11
10,
point
yeah.
win.
Yeah.
11-point lead early in the second quarter. The Saints rally back. To be fair, mostly in the second quarter and go into the
Mm.
half 16-14 up. Jackson Dart, I believe, went out the game for a bit. It was just Mrs. Fletcher was happy, obviously, but the Giants.
I mean, just another game where it was like, yeah, they win. So they win last week against the Chargers, good win in last first game. And then Brian Dable comes back, and we and Ollie both know what Brian Dable is. He's not a
I've,
good head coach.
I've
So
known that this guy sucks for over a decade. When he was at the Browns, he sucked. Like this guy sucks. Like I keep telling people he sucks, and they keep telling me he doesn't, and I keep telling them they suck, and then they go, "Oh yeah, he does suck." Thanks. He sucks.
Um,
And also, it was quite funny because Jackson Dart, when he threw the first interception, which was a pretty bad interception. I made a comment at Tom. I went, "There's the Jackson Dart that I know," and the Giants fan was sat right next to us. So that was quite funny.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I find it funny watching because obviously got to see a lot of Jackson Dart last year, and I like watching the people who haven't ever watched a single snap of college football until it's draft time, and they watch the highlights that are shown on NFL Network,
Yeah,
and then they think that like this player is the greatest thing to have ever turned up ever into a game because they've watched some highlights on NFL Network on draft night. Um, yeah, there's the Jackson Dart that some of us are quite familiar with.
yeah.
Um, couple of shout outs in this game though to Rashid Shaheed, four
Mm.
receptions, 114 yards. I love saying his name. I don't even care. Including the 87-yard touchdown that put the Saints within a point to come very close to tying it up before the Saints again went ahead.
Did they
On the
recover? They recovered a fumble or something, didn't they?
They
Right?
returned
I
the
saw the guy running
fumble.
it back for the touchdown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fumble return. They had one fumble return
so like 70 yards or
for a
something. Wasn't
Yeah,
touchdown. Let's have a look. Where's the
it? I think it was like 70 yards.
yeah. It looked like it was a long one.
Jay Howden for 86 yards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the one.
And well, there's only so many things you can say about a game. Or I'll tell you, I know we're not exactly arguing about any of this sort of thing anyway. I just want to shout it out. As far as penalties go, both teams, well, Giants had 8, Saints had 7, which sounds okay, except the Giants' 8 penalties were accrued for 95 yards. That's almost a
Oof.
full football field. The Saints' 7 was for 43. 5 turnovers to the Saints' 0 turnovers. If you do that in a game, you do not win a game. I think I've only ever. I mean, I watched the Lions last year against the Texans. We had 5 turnovers and still won. It's so incredibly rare that that happens. Insane, just insane. You can't have 5 turnovers in a game and win a game. It's not allowed.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when you got Brian Dable at coach. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You can't. Yeah, it's true. You can't have Brian Daboll as head coach and win games. That's just not allowed. Um, the Giants 1-4, back to being frauds again. Saints 1 and
Mm.
4. Sorry, Mrs. Fletcher, still frauds. It was the
Yeah,
Giants. Not
yeah.
impressive. I would beat the Giants.
Well, it
Um,
helps out for the number one overall pick bowl if the Browns end up there. So
Speaking of the number one overall pick bowl, we have no unbeaten teams, but we do still have a winless team. The Jets
Mm.
lost to the Cowboys 37-22. The Cowboys were 23-3 up at the half. They were 36 up at the end of the third quarter. The Jets, sorry, rally back just a little bit towards the end of the game, but it's all for nothing. 37-22 to the Cowboys.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson, garbage time touchdown
Yep.
to put them within like 10 or something, 12. But yeah, I just find it funny that because me and Ollie were saying this as well, like when the Cowboys are winning, that even when they're bad, their bad is not as bad as these terrible teams. Like when they're bad, they're still, competitive. Like they're still,
Yeah.
they've gone to 2-2-1 now with that one draw against the Packers. But terrible teams go 0-5. Bad, good teams that are playing bad go 2-2 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Um, I don't really, obviously, we don't want to dwell too much on this. We'll speak about it as part of the preview show on Thursday. I want this that we're gonna have this conversation, but the Jets could they realistically go 0-17 at this point? I love Aaron Glenn. I really want Aaron Glenn to do well, but they look bad.
they're the
Yeah.
first team in NFL history to lose their first 5 games and not have a single takeaway. And Aaron Glenn is a defensive guy. Obviously, that doesn't mean they should be getting turnovers, but
Yeah. I mean, what was that? I think the only thing was I can't remember who it was.
And George Pickens absolutely cooked
That was
Sauce
it.
Gardner on the touchdown
Pickens.
as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
Pickens absolutely cooked him. And
Yeah,
this
what's
is
his he's going to be about that this week?
like I'm sorry, but I will say this, I don't care. I mean, I like Sauce Gardner. He was good for a couple, but you take holding off Sauce Gardner, don't let him
Mm,
hold, he's not that good. He's a
Oh mate,
mm,
very
I've
average
been
corner.
saying it. I've been saying it, like you can't be one of the best corners in the league if you can't play man. Like if you can't play man defense, how can you be one of the best corners in the league? And what I mean, he can't play like he is. The drop off when he's in zone versus man is so funny because he's not
Um,
a great athlete. Like oh, so that let me reword that. Every NFL player is a great athlete, but like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not an elite athlete. He's not an elite athlete compared to like a Pat Satan or a Denzel Ward. Like that's why these guys are so good in man, and obviously Pat Satan as well, so good in zone. He's a good zone corner, but as you said, Fletch, like take that away from him, and he's just not that what he's been kind of hyped up to be.
yeah.
he's not going
That
anywhere though because the Jets re-signed him for like some massive contract as well. So him and Garrett Wilson, they're there
And
for the long
he's got
haul.
terrible ball steals as well.
absolutely, yeah. So like I say Jets 0-5, Cowboys 2-1. It was other than a garbage time touchdown. Don't let the two score game fool you. It wasn't
Mm,
close. It was
no,
never close.
no,
Aaron Glenn, and like I said, I'm sad to see it, but they look horrific.
yeah.
Want to move on to real quick to the Lions Bengals. I'll just give a shout out to for Bengals defense gave some real life problems to the Lions offense. For the second week in a row, that is a scoreline that flatters the Lions against an AFC North team. It shouldn't because they don't have a defense. So other than Trey Hendrickson, they also don't really have an offense, and they put up 24 points. I'm a bit pissed off. I would have. I'm just baffled by a lot of this game. Some of the problems for the Lions making it look a little bit closer than it did end up being, even on the scoreboard, where I hate to do this to someone in their first ever NFL start, but the amount of times Giovanni Manu was filling in at left tackle and was left on an island on his own against Trey Hendrickson nearly murdered Jared Goff. We nearly walked out of there with Brad Allen being the only quarterback on the roster just because Jared Goff was going to get murdered. And it's first ever NFL start at left tackle, filling in last minute for a Taylor Decker who couldn't make it. I don't want the fault is on the coaching for not giving him help, for not pulling more, for not doing some of the more of these sets where a tight end can come in and help, where David Montgomery can come in and help, where he's being left on his own against the Trey Hendrickson. Jared Goff should be changing some of the protections at the line and didn't particularly early on. I don't know if he just forgot that it was Manu, not Taylor Decker. Some of them even then, like Taylor Decker's going to have trouble against Trey Hendrickson. Anyone's going to have trouble against Trey Hendrickson. Similar to Myles Garrett. Obviously, Myles Garrett's even better than that, but you leave these people on their own, your quarterback's going to die. It's probably what's going to happen.
There's a reason why the Vikings chipped him on like basically every snap.
Oh mate, he's getting doubled and tripled every play.
Yeah, and they had a tight end chipping on like basically
Yeah,
every snap that he was in. So.
Yeah. Shout out to David Montgomery back in his hometown Cincinnati. The last time he played in Cincinnati, he was in high school and he was playing quarterback slash running back for his high school team. Given that he got both a passing and a rushing touchdown, his sister got to watch him for the first time in over a season after she had it was all over the broadcast. She was in a car accident in February 2024 on Valentine's Day, has been paralyzed from the neck down since. And his other cousin, I think it's his cousin, who also has not too long ago been diagnosed with cancer. They were finally able to go and watch him play for the first time in a long time. He gets a passing and a rushing touchdown in his hometown. Love to see that sort of thing. Great for him to be able to have that opportunity. And shout out to the Bengals fan who sat in front of him as well.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
time
No,
anything happened.
I saw that. I saw that on social media. That was amazing. I was just going to ask you one thing about this game, Fletch.
Yep.
Were you glad to see the end of this game with the way that the Bengals finished in the fourth quarter?
Yep. Very, very happy.
because at one point I was watching it with Ollie, and I made some stupid take to say Jake Browning was one of the best backups in the league, and he'd thrown three interceptions that were just terrible. And then he suddenly threw three touchdowns in the fourth quarter, two to Jamar Chase. One of them just a YOLO Jamar Chase down there. Bull.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering if you were just a little bit nervous when it was 38-24.
Yeah, the R starts twitching just a little bit. When it got to 28-17 especially, and there's still 10 minutes to go, and it's now an 11-point game, the way the defense was playing was just it's so frustrating. Luckily, they kind of hold out. I do want to give a shout out to Anzalone,
Mm.
who was felt like he was all over the place. How many tackles did he have? Less than I actually thought, but he came away with the interception. Amit Robertson, who came away with a really good interception. Kirby Joseph comes away with another interception. That's his 20th of his career. The defense turned up for the most part, apart from towards the end of the game, where there was just so many problems. The only thing that really, really, really wound me up was we had a safety on Jake Browning and Terry on
I
fucking
saw that.
Arnold. Terry on fucking Arnold with the holding. It was a relatively soft holding call, DPI call, but it was
Oh, I
still
didn't
like
realize that got called off. That was a beautiful
the
safety.
first one did. We got a safety in the end.
Oh, yeah, you got the
First,
safety later. Oh,
we
so you
had
had two
two. We
safeties,
had two
man.
safeties. One of them got
Mm.
chalked off. Um, Terry and Arnold, he is starting to wind me up a little bit. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to be supportive of him, but oh my god, he's winding me up with some of these
Uh,
calls.
The other quarterback that you drafted that year, is he injured? Rackshaw, whatever
Yeah,
his name
yeah.
is.
What's his face? He's barely ever played.
Yeah,
Henneshaw,
We
Rakeshaw.
got
isn't
him the
it, or
second round.
something?
Renishaw.
Rickshaw. We got him the second round.
Because I was
He's a
going to say,
double
like,
dip.
obviously, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Lions are obviously a good team and are winning games, but you've got to be a little bit disappointed as a Lions fan right now from those first two picks that were meant to be. If those two guys were as good as you expected them to be, then oh boy, this defense is even better.
Oh yeah, 100%. Um, I think
Especially with
what
Carlton Davis being over in New England now as well, and he played decent for the Lions.
yeah, I mean the only thing I think the most frustrating thing is like he needs to learn and he's gonna learn and it's gonna happen. He was just you get away with so much more as a corner in college. And especially if you play for an Alabama, you
I
get
got
away
some
with quite
breaking
a
news
lot
on
more.
I got some breaking news on Terry and Arnold, Fletch.
Look,
He's suffered a serious shoulder injury and is out indefinitely, possibly for the remainder of the season.
What?
I just found it just got retweeted somewhere.
where was that on? The
I saw it on Football Forever, but
right. Oh yeah. Like Lions cornerback Terry Arnold now going to be out a long time per Dan Campbell in his press conference. So
Oh,
yeah, that's going to be a while. Yeah, when he messed up the safety, I'll give him this. The very next play, he had a pass breakup, a really good pass breakup. The play after that, when Kirby Joseph got his interception,
he could have had that interception.
literally right hands right behind him, like it was
Yeah,
so
yeah, I
close.
saw that. I saw that. It's almost like Kobe Joseph stole it away from
He
him.
he will he'll do something that's silly and he'll make a
Hmm.
mistake, but then he'll make up for it twice on the next couple of plays, but no one talked about it. But the thing is, we do need to limit a lot of them. And given that he's so susceptible to these mistakes and these penalties, it doesn't surprise me when they're saying to a Jamar Chase, go play him. Because what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can do if you don't, you can play the PI, you can play it,
yeah.
you can make it happen and against someone like him. So it's frustrating. We come away with a win though, 4-1. Very
Shout out to
happy to
Jamar
have seen
Chase in
that.
this game as well. Three
Yeah.
receptions and four tackles, all on the interceptions
you just know that him
from
and T
Jay
Higgins,
Brown.
you just know that him and T Higgins are so sick right now. Like they signed the extensions, and then Joe Burrow's out for the season again, and it's like we got to do another year with Jake Brown in front of us, the wall, man.
Um,
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. you've got to be annoyed, but also at the same time, like if I had that much money, I'm not as bothered really. You get that much money because you're playing on the Bengals. I mean, if you're anywhere else, okay, you're probably still making about that much money. To be fair, you're that good. Um,
If you're anywhere else, you're making 5 times more money than the Bengals, mate.
Yeah, I was
He's
gonna say
cheapest owner in the
if
league.
you're Jamar Chase and you're playing on any other team than the Bengals, you probably got another 20 million or
Like
something.
that
no,
T
because to
Higgins
be fair,
contract is so bad. Like I don't know why T Higgins signed that. It is so bad.
if you run most other teams in the NFL, they'd have had the Jamar Chase done way before it actually,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
way
Very
before. So
true.
you probably have saved at least a bit of money by getting ahead of deals.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
probably.
because Jamar Chase sat there, they sat back and then like Amon-Ra St. Brown get a deal done, and then Jamar Chase
Mm,
goes, "Whoop, there's a few extra $1 million on that." Was it Justin Jefferson got his deal done that same summer, and he's just like, "Oh, there's a
yeah.
few more million." Like anyway,
You're right though,
so
Ollie. If T Higgins had like gone to like, I don't know, the Panthers or something and signed
Oh
like a
yeah,
5 year 120 odd million because it was 4 year 110 or something,
he'd have
right?
got 35 million a year.
Yeah, yeah.
yep. Um, yeah, fair point. To wrap this up, there's a couple more games we need to run through. Commanders, Chargers, Jaden Daniels back. Chargers had a 10-point lead in the first quarter. Then it
What
was
actually
all
happened in this
Commanders.
game? Just I saw that Jalen Daniels, like the stats didn't seem like he lit it up, and I
No,
just saw
it was
that.
more of a Ja'Cory or Bill
Yeah,
Crosby
yeah. I
Merritt
saw he
sort
went
of
off for a
game.
lot of yards. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty dominant in this one. And Debo Samuel as well had a good game. But yeah, as you said, the Chargers had a 10-point lead. But there was a good interception actually, right near the goal line for I can't remember who got it for. Was it Quan Martin? Well, no, it wasn't. It was that's one
Thomas
guy
Joe.
from Michigan, a very good player, Mikey Samerstill. He got a pick in this game. And the Chargers are now 3-2. So I absolutely love to see it.
What are the you're 2-2, aren't you, the Chiefs?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. So you'll be
Yeah,
hoping for a win tonight then. Get back,
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
get back on track.
So yeah, absolutely. By the way, Crosby Merritt by far the star of this game. He won it for the
And Amarian Hampton's going to miss a
yeah,
bunch of time as well. He's got some injuries, so
yeah. Did he
Well,
win?
Quinshon Judkins and Ashton Gentry left then as the two best rookies this
Yeah.
year, running backs.
StatMuse
yeah.
better actually get a Quinshon Judkins image made for him because they ignored him before, didn't they?
I was gonna say I retweeted it like you. I don't know if you were aware of that news, but you can actually post free photos on Twitter.
Yeah. Um, last couple of games, Texans. We need to have a quick chat about the Ravens. We need to. Texans 44, Ravens 10. I know Ravens have quite a few. I've read something like $160 million right now of the Ravens cap space is out. I know I can see Ollie's face ready to tell like because a couple of years ago Kevin Stefanski made a lot
Yeah,
more work with a lot less. $160 million in cap on either IR or just out of games at the moment, or at least they were this weekend. Got absolute crap kicked out of them, and the Texans just took the mick all game. It wasn't pretty. It didn't look nice. And John Harbaugh has got to be getting a bit stressed out at this moment in time as the Ravens are now 1-4.
yeah,
Doesn't help when like the whole of your defense is
yeah.
just
They're out like 8 defensive starters. Like, I mean, I said to touch. Obviously, I said the Ravens would have dog walked the division this year, and then I said to Tom last week, I was like, I've literally cursed the Ravens. Like it is like I don't like to, I'd love to say that it's just because they suck, but it's like they are literally decimated
mm,
with injuries. Like it should not be understated how bad it is, as you said, Fletch, with the amount of money they've got on that, got injured, and they are so injured. Lamar Jackson's out. John Harbaugh is not good enough of a head coach, and like people might think that I'm crazy saying this right now, but like he can't do what Kevin's the better. I'm not saying Kevin's the
Mm.
better head coach. He hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he can't do what Kevin did a couple of seasons ago. And like if he hasn't got Lamar Jackson and these guys, then he's
Mm.
not going to make this team going. But they're going to lose a bunch of games this year. They might get in a situation. I mean, Lamar's what 2 3 week injury. They lose the
Yeah.
next 2 games and Lamar's not playing. They might get into a situation where they go, oh, it turns out that injury is actually a lot more worse, guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
don't they're not very quick to rush him back, and they plan to lose a few more games, which worries me because the Ravens always get the best players in the draft, right? No matter where they draft, they end up getting a top 5 pick, top 10 pick. They're going to get Caleb Downs. They're going to get one of the best players in the draft. They're going to get all their players going to come back from injury, and they're going to be really good next year, as they always are. And they're going to have a star rookie contributing on the team, because that's just what the Ravens do. So they're going to lose a bunch of games this year. If you're an AFC North team that's not the Ravens, just hope that they don't lose too many games so they get a top 5 pick, because they will end up turning that into a very good player for next year, because they're going to bounce back next year when all the players come back. This is not
Well,
a
the AFC North had so much promise this year, and now the
oh
starting
god,
quarterbacks are Cooper Rush,
this
Dylan Gabriel, a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and Jay Brown.
this you got the Bengals about Joe Burrow's gone. I mean the Ravens, the whole team's gone. The Browns can't score points and are now on to their second rookie, already on their second quarterback, and it's a rookie. And the Steelers aren't even good, and they're somehow 3-1. Like this division is hilarious right now, hilarious. And the Ravens are still favored to win the
Yeah,
division at 1-4.
because and as we said with the Bills, with their cakewalk,
Oh, the Ravens
the
schedule looks
Ravens
pretty
have a
easy.
very good schedule.
Yeah,
If they do get Lamar back when he's due to get back, and they can somehow survive till
yeah,
then they're still going to have a great chance to make the
yeah.
playoffs
It
and
gets a
win the
lot easier the
division.
schedule.
So, but yeah, it doesn't look very good right
Just
now.
typical that the Browns had to play them the week before 8 of their defensive starters went got out injured. So
Yeah.
but John Harbaugh, I will just say, because you did mention it there, like he should be on somewhat fraud watch. Because like this is a guy that before Lamar Jackson was going to lose his job. Like Lamar Jackson
Hmm.
saved his job.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that can be argued. Like he was going to lose his job if Lamar Jackson didn't come in and do what he did. Lamar Jackson came in and saved his job. Let's see how he can handle this season with some of the adversity that he's had.
And
Yeah.
it's that the worrying thing as well is not so much in this game, but in previous games, they've given up so many double-digit leads in the fourth quarter, like since he's been the coach, that
Yeah, they lose a lot of
at
playoff
some
games.
point it's not just the situation, it's got to be the coaching. Like there has to be something that's going on there where it just isn't right. Because you should not be losing, some of these playoff games with, especially with Lamar playing well recently as well. Obviously, early in his playoff career, he had some not so good performances, but he has not been the problem these last
Yeah,
recently. So they
and
need to do something, but
I'm sure it won't happen, but they are currently on pace to give up the most points by any team in NFL history. I think the Browns are the only team to not score 38 points on them this year.
Jeez. Um,
yeah,
right. Far be it from a Lions fan in particular, but also like a Browns
giving up
fan
what
could also be
112
included.
points, four
Um,
games.
yeah, far be it from any Lions fan or well, especially a Lions fan in particular, like to have this swing at them. But aside from the one Super Bowl, and I say that like a Super Bowl's a Super Bowl, you've never even fucking been to one. So hence why I'm saying like far be it from a Lions fan. Like you can't live on plus you can't live on to that one forever.
I
You
was going to say,
can't.
like John Harbaugh, like take away Lamar, and he's not the Ravens head coach right now.
Yep, I agree.
Just
Like Lamar Jackson's that good that he saved his job.
yeah. Yeah. Quick final two. Raiders Colts 40, Colts 40, Raiders 6. Colts bounce back after a week 4 loss. Again, like
Shout
never in doubt.
shout out Dan Jones, and Raiders should start Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I agree. I just love the what was it? When Geno Smith signed with the Raiders, he said, "I don't think we're not here to. Uh, I'm not here to just run this offense. I'm here to run the table or something like that." And since then, he's thrown 9 interceptions. He's the league leader. The Raiders are terrible. Ashton Genty and Max Crosby are, the Raiders really. Um, and the Colts are a very good team. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns in this game, continued I think he's still leading in terms of rushing yards, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, he continued his great season. And the Colts just beat up on a bad team. So yeah.
Just double check. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, 480 yards on the ground. Next best is James Cook with 450.
Wait, so how close is he?
James Cook is 30 behind
Oh,
Jonathan
okay, yeah,
Taylor.
yeah, yeah. Jesuit's having a really good year, and he even had a down game this game as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to Jonathan Taylor, man. Going back to 2021, Jonathan Taylor, where he was just tearing through defenses. So
Um, Final game of the week that just needs to be spoken about was the 49ers overtime win over the Rams with a field goal. This was the Rams fall to 3-2. The San
mm.
Francisco 49ers, where 98% of the team is on an ICU unit, somehow a 4-1. What's going on?
Well, I jinxed the Ravens in a bad way, but I think I jinxed the 49ers in a good way because I picked them to make the Super Bowl. Every player's gotten injured, and they've somehow able to. I say that. I mean, like people who want to do like the whole like, oh, like how does Kyle Shanahan do it? All of his players are injured. It's like, don't get me wrong, I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. I've argued the opposite of like people trying to say that he's a bad coach the last few years, but they've still got their Hall of Fame left tackle Trent Williams every single game. Still got their Hall of Fame running back CMC. Those two guys are good enough to give you a chance in any game. But yeah, 49ers just finding ways to win. I think I've jinxed them. Must have in a good way.
And this is going to sound stupid again because I know it's only the start of October or whatever, but Mac Jones is playing well for the 49ers. And when Brock Purdy came back, he didn't look great. He might be, injured, or he might not have come back to the full strength that he is. But the team that's putting them in a better position to win right now is Mac Jones ahead of Brock Purdy, which sounds a bit crazy. But shout out to the 49ers. Kendrick Bourne had himself a day. Just a bunch of kind of reject wide receivers just came to the came to the the 49ers and then just to have some career days. So the Rams, I don't know, like obviously Puka Nacua had a really good game. But why you are handing the ball off on 4th and 1 when the 49ers know exactly what you're going to do into the teeth of the defense. I have no clue what Sean McVay was thinking with that play call, but
I think it was one of them where he was like, they know I'm going to run it, which means they must know that I'm not going to run it and I'm actually going to run a play action. So that means I'm actually going to run it.
exactly.
It's these days, it's one of them, like, you can call it out of thing, but like, Sean
Yeah.
McVay has justified
Oh yeah. No,
enough to make
he
that
has
call
for
and it
sure. He
like
has. It
to
was
give
just
the
one
benefit
that,
of the
that
doubt. But
he
you are
got wrong
right.
there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I mean the guy's won a Super Bowl. He's been to two
Yeah.
Super Bowls.
He's one of the
He's
best offensive minders
one of the
in
best
NFL
offensive
history. Yeah.
minds. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
But
So
as you said, yeah, he still is. That doesn't mean it wasn't a
especially giving
questionable
it to a
call.
running back that has been prone to
Yeah,
fumbling
yeah, yeah, yeah.
as well. So it's but yeah, I mean personally I would get a Puka Nacua involved on that one. But
Well, that's the only problem of having a 40-year-old quarterback with back issues. Because
mm,
10 years ago, that's Matthew Stafford quarterback sneak every single day of the week.
yeah.
But you can't really be doing that as he's now getting a bit older and had some back
The
issues.
impressive win for the 49ers somehow going to 4-1 and obviously the Rams dropped to 3-2, but they'll be fine.
Yeah. Um, Okay, so that's all the games this weekend. It was like I say, despite the fact that two games were gone, sorry, there were two games worth of teams on a bye week. Just chaos, a lot of chaos this weekend. That that's just how the NFL works, apparently. Finishing it up tonight is the Chiefs and Jags. The preview team was split on this one. Now I know Tom's gonna scorn me for this one, but Meg and myself both went with the Jags. I voted primarily in the best interest of my team. Like I have weight in this game. I need the Chiefs to lose. I need Hurt to be before Sunday because well we play you on Sunday. I need something to give us an edge. Sam and Carl both favoured the Chiefs tonight. Like I say, myself and Meg went with the Jags. Should be a very fun game in Jacksonville. Jags are 3-1, looking all right. What you thinking tonight, Tom?
Well, I think the Jags defense is playing really, really well. I think they lead the league in turnovers. So it's really important that the Chiefs play clean football in this game to get the win. But yeah, I'm looking for another big game for Xavier Worthy. He came back in the last game. He just added that whole other element to the Chiefs offense. So I think he's going to have a good night. In terms of what the Chiefs need to stop, I mean, the main thing would be Travis Etienne. He's having a really good year as well. But yeah, I think the Chiefs will get the win, but I think it will be close. I'm going for a 27-24 victory, and I am waiting for the day where Meg actually picks the Chiefs to win a game. But we'll see that at some point, maybe.
Um, fun little stat for you though. You were absolutely right. The Jacksonville Jaguars do lead the league in takeaways. They have 13 total, 9 interceptions, 4 fumbles. Their offense has only given away 4 interceptions as well. So they have like the net difference is 9, which is also the best in the league. So yeah, clean football is an absolute must for you.
I don't think the Jags are as good as people think they are. Chiefs should comfortably win this game, I think. The Jags have beaten the Bengals with no Joe Burrow, the Texans, who before this week looked like one of the worst teams in the league, the Panthers, who we all just talked about how terrible they were, and a really banged up 49ers team, which was probably that was their most impressive win. Don't get me wrong, that 49ers win. But this might be partly me saying this because I want them to lose as many games as possible. But yeah, I'll pick the Chiefs to win that one.
Okay. Right. Well, without further ado, I think this is about time that we wrap this up, call it a day, and we will see you on Friday morning. Well, we'll hopefully see you on Friday morning for the preview show as they look towards a week 6 of action that sees. Is it still only 4 teams on bye week next week? Oh no, it's only 2. Texans and Vikings are on a bye next week. So
So,
we'll
so
see.
Vikings get a nice bye week after an international game that they got to travel to the week before because they travelled to another international game, whereas the Browns have got to go and play a team coming off of a bye after travelling back from London. Cheers, NFL. At least try and pretend like you don't schedule these games for the better teams.
Yeah. Um, no comment. The
It's just
Yeah,
hilarious.
I get it. I get it. So yeah, we'll see 15 games previewed at the week on Friday morning. Really looking forward to that one. We have the College Football UK podcast, which will be dropping on
We got a big game this
Thursday
week, Fletch,
morning.
haven't we? In the college. Some are saying the QB1 Bowl,
Yeah,
Oregon, Indiana. I will be watching that. That is for sure.
yeah. Um, I don't know. To be fair, it's been
Not because I care about Indiana or Oregon, but I'm a Browns fan and we're probably going to have a top five pick. So
yeah.
I will be watching the QB1 Bowl.
Probably end up drafting both of the quarterbacks.
Probably. I would definitely wouldn't mind that.
Um, but no, yeah, we have a big week of college football coming up. We will see you for College Football UK podcast hopefully on Thursday. the Fantasy Den, which will drop on Saturday morning, and then we've got the Patriots Touchback as well, which will be tonight night of release. Will be audio, well, the live video, and then we'll see. Obviously, we've got the audio only version coming out first thing in the morning after. So plenty to look forward to on the AAW network. And for now, we will hurdle that. Something related
London
to the London
game.
games. Just hurdle the London games.
Heard of the London games? Yep.
Lovely.